When dealing with averages in word problems, it's like dealing with any other type of word problem. We start by reading the word problem for comprehension. Don't just skim it, don't just circle numbers, read it like it's English class. If it helps, summarize it in your own words. So I'm trying to predict grades in a class. I have 4 tests, 2 project scores, seems like they're all weighted the same. So I need to find the average of all 6 of these scores. I now understand what the word problem is asking me to do. I'm going to identify the given information. The 4 and the 2 tell me how many projects or tests, so those are distractors. I'm looking at 100%, so I'm looking at the scores, the grades. This is what my answer will be in, so I need to make sure that I'm starting with that type of value. Write the values in numerical order. Numerical order helps us with pretty much everything except for the mean. So I'm going to write them all out in numerical order to help me find my mode, my median, my range. Now I need to calculate the mean, the mode, the median, and the range. To find the mean, I add everything up. You get a total sum of 430. There's 2, 4, 6 total values, so I'm going to divide it by 6 to get 70%. Remember, this is a word problem, so I need to give my answer in units. Then I'm going to find my mode. So now that I have things in numeric order, I look for values that are next to each other. I see 2 sets of 80, so I'm going to put that 80% is my mode. None of the other values repeat, so I only have one mode. My median, I'm going to cancel out left and right, left and right. There's not one defined value in the middle, so I'm going to end up taking 75 plus 80, the 2 values that are left after I cancel out on the left and on the right. I'm going to take the mean of them, so I add them up and divide by 2. I get a median of 77.5%. The range is the biggest value minus the smallest value. The biggest value is always to the right, so 100. The smallest value is always to the left, 45. So 100 minus 45 gives me 55%. In many word problems, you may be asked a final question after you calculated everything. The question here is, are you going to pass the class? So in this case, all of your scores run in a range of about 55%. So that's a big range, and you've done very well and also not so well. Your mean score, which is what most class grades are graded on, is 70%. Your mode score is 80%, and your median is 77.5%. So it does not matter which version of the average your teacher is using, you're going to end up passing the class. Let's try an example problem together. Start by reading the word problem for comprehension. You're on the track team and you're trying to find your average speed on the mile run. Your speeds from the last few races are 8 minutes, or your times, not speeds, 7.5 minutes, 7 minutes, 6.75 minutes, 9 minutes, and 10 minutes. So I'm given a list of times. I need to know what my average time is on the mile run. So to start out, I'm going to find all of those values. I want to make sure they're isolated. There's no distractors. These are the numbers I'm finding the average of. I'm going to list them in numeric order. The smallest value, 6.75, followed by 7, 7.5, 8, 9, 10. Be careful with those decimals. It shouldn't change your answer. Just know that 7.5 is half an integer, half a step on that number line, bigger than 7. So I'm going to add them all up to find my mean. Take that value and divide by how many total values are in the set. There's 6 altogether, so I'm going to take 48.25 divided by 6 to get 8.04 minutes. Round to about 2 decimal places is always a safe bet. Make sure you include units on your final answer there. To find the mode, we look for any values that repeat. There are no values next to each other. By putting it in numeric order from smallest to largest, or least to greatest, we end up seeing if any values are next to their repeated values. None are, so there's no mode. The median, I cross out on the left and right, until I either have one value in the middle or 2. If I have 2, I need to take the mean of those 2 values. Add them up. 7.5 plus 8 gives me 15.5. 15.5 divided by 2, because there's 2 values I'm taking the mean of, and I divide to get 7.75 minutes. Units are important. The range, you take the biggest value minus the smallest. So that's 10 minus 6.75 to get 3.25. So again, this is the range of where all those values are located. That's not a huge range, so the values were relatively consistent. A great visual way to show a lot of the average constant or concepts that we have been talking about is a box and whisker plot. In order to do a box and whisker plot, we're going to need to use our knowledge of the median and our knowledge of putting numbers in numerical order. So first thing we do is find the median of the set of values. So I'm going to start by putting all of those in numerical order from least to greatest. Negatives always are the beginning. Remember, those are further down the left on that number line, which means they're smaller. With negatives, less is more. Just because normally the numbers would go in one order when they're positive, it's reversed of the way you usually think when they're negative. Be careful. So I'm going to find the median. I'm going to cross out left and right, until I'm left with one or two values in the center. In this case, I have 2, 5, and 8, so I add up 5 plus 8 to get 13. Take 13 divided by 2 to get 6.5. That's the median of my total set of values. I'm going to find the median of the first half of the set of values. First half and second half of the values changes depending on whether you have an odd set or an even set of values. In this case, we have an even set. So those two values, 5 and 8, that I just took the average of, I'm going to split them down the middle. So on the first half, I have -3, 0, 2, and 5. On the second half of my values, I have 8, 9, 12, and 17. We're looking at the first and second half of the values when they're in numeric order from least to greatest. So to find the median of the first half, I'm going to look at that first set of values. And I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm going to cancel out left and right. Different colors help here. You could also rewrite the values, the set of values 3 times. You could also erase the erase the cross-out lines or draw X's. So I'm using -3 and 5. 0 and 2 are the only two left. Remember, you find your median until there's 2 or 1 value left in the middle. So I'm going to add up 0 plus 2 to get 2. Divide that by 2 to get 1. That's the median of the first set of values. Now we're going to find the median of the second half of the set of values. So just like we took from -3 to 5 as the first half, we're going to keep that imaginary line between the 5 and the 8 open. We're going to go from 8 to 17. That's our second half of values. So I want to find the mean of 8, 9, 12, and 17. So I cross out 1 on the left, 1 on the right, and I'm left with 9 and 12 in the middle. Add those up, because remember, when you have two values left, you take the mean of them. 21 divided by 2 gives me 10.5. Now I'm going to plot all 3 medians on a number line by drawing vertical lines. In this case, I was given a blank number line. That may not always be the case. Sometimes there'll be numbers there. But if you're given a blank number line, you need to use your rounding skills. So I'm going to look at the biggest value, the maximum value, and the minimum value of my set. So I have -3 as the smallest. I'm going to round down on my smallest value. I'm going to round down to a set of 10s. In this case, it'd be -10. My biggest value is 17. I'm going to round up. Biggest set of 10 there is 20. So I'm going to have this number line go in intervals of 10 from -10 to 20. So -10, 0, 10, 20. Now I'm going to plot these numbers on just like we've done with number lines before. My overall median is 6.5. So at about 6.5 on this number line, I'm going to plot a vertical line. If you're given a more detailed number line, give a more detailed box-whisker plot. Now I'm going to plot my first half median, which was 1, so that's 1 on my number line, and then the other one, which was 10.5, which is the second half of my values. Draw the box formed by these lines. So I'm really just connecting the top and the bottom. It makes a box. The two ends are the first and second half medians. The middle line is the overall median. Now I'm going to plot the minimum and max values on the number line by drawing vertical lines, just like we did with the medians. Well, my maximum value is my value all the way to the right side of this set of values that I've written in lowest to greatest order. So I have -3 is my minimum, 17 is my maximum, and then I just draw the whiskers that connect the minimum and maximum values to the box. So that's where our whiskers come from. They stick out from the Box-and-Whisker Plot. Let's try it again, this time with a set of odd values. So I'm going to start by putting the numbers in numeric order. Be careful with -4.6 and -4.2. -4.6, if we were thinking positive, 4.6 is greater. But since it's negative, it's less than. A lot of people look at those two and they try to apply positive concepts to negative values. So I'm going to start by finding the overall median. So I cross out left and right, left and right, left and right. I have one value left. So my overall median's just 1. When there's an odd number, the median's a lot easier because you don't have to find a mean. However, when there's only one value for the median, so in this case 1, I didn't have to take a mean. When I look at my first half and my second half, I ignore that value. So the first half of my set of values is everything to the left of my 1. So -9, -4.6, -4.2 is the first set or first half of values that I'm going to find the median of. The second half is 3.2, 8, 12. So when there's an even number, the values in the center are included in the first and second half. When there's an odd number, the value in the center is excluded. It's not used in the list. So now I'm going to find the median of the first half. So I cross out left, right, and I'm left with just -4.6 in the middle, only one value in the center. I'm going to start with my second half values. So I'm going to find the median over there. 3.2, 8, and 12. Cross out 1 on the left, 1 on the right. I'm left with just 8 in the center there. So I have my 3 medians. I'm going to make a number line based on all of this. The biggest value I have is 12. The smallest value I have is -9. So I'm going to round down from -9 to -10. I'm going to round up from +12 to +20. And I'm going to just go by sets of 10. This is if they give you a very blank number line, just like this. So now I'm going to plot all 3. My overall median is at 1. The first half median is at -4.6. And the second half median is at 8. Using multiple colors like this really helps you organize which value goes where. I'm going to close the box by drawing lines to make a box out of the 3 lines that I've already drawn. Then I'm going to draw plot my minimum and my maximum. The minimum value is all the way to the left. That's -9, so I'm going to plot it at -9, very close to -10. Then my maximum values all the way to the right in my set of values up there, so that's 12. This is why it's very important to put these numbers in numerical order from least to greatest before you start any of these problems. Draw out the whiskers that go from the box to the max and min, and you have yourself a box and whisker plot.